Alright, hello Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike. I am the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. So, now that we finally concluded our LCS 2020 Spring Split Week 1 matches, I wanted to give you my thoughts and opinions on the weeks and up and coming for the LCS as well. I did this last year. A lot of people enjoyed them. I do it for the LEC and the LCS. When the LCK comes on, I'll do it not as often, but I will cover the LCK as well. And whenever China comes back, because they're having a bit of a problem over there right now with that virus, that is going around their country. So I wish them nothing but the best, and I hope they actually get better. So the week started off really interesting. A lot of expectations were actually met. A lot of the teams that weren't really supposed to be that good actually excelled. And you also have to factor in that it's week 1 for these performances. I know some people are probably thinking to themselves like, oh my god, I was right about this player, I was right about that player. But do keep in mind, guys, it is week 1. So all of these crazy, narratives people are throwing out there like, oh, Dignitas and FlyQuest are going to win the split. It's going to be a C9 versus FlyQuest final. How about hold the brakes? The split literally just started. Remember what people said last year, how, at one point, I think like Optic was in first place and then Cloud9 was like right behind them with TL. People were like, oh my god, Optic can be a top 4 team at the end of Summer Split if they improve. Please just hold your horses. We just have the split starting now. There's a lot to basically digest, so let me actually break it all down for you. So, we are coming into this LCS first week of matches with a new format. We had the Monday Night League, which just concluded today, and we had our Saturday and Sunday matches as per usual. A later game time, less games, and I actually think that it works out a lot better. I found myself watching the 4 games and enjoying them more because it was less games and more to take in. That's what I feel like was a good improvement for the LCS, is because having that many games during a day could actually be very taxing on the teams that are actually in the studio. And when you actually think about how long they're in the studio waiting to play, it could actually be very exhausting and mentally draining to be in the studio that long. So when the games happened for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I found myself just enjoying them a whole lot more. So I actually like that aspect. So let's actually talk about the teams. So that is really going to be the place everybody wants to actually criticize all the teams for. So to start off, I don't even know who was worse, TSM or Immortals. Like people have TSM ranked at like 1st, 2nd. Some people have them as lowest as 4th. I have them at top 2. Now, I understand they can improve as the split goes on and on, but they look like complete crap. They look horrible, and I'm going to explain more on this in a little bit here, but TSM, I don't know what level of crack they decided to smoke before they played their game yesterday and today. Like, these games looked just atrocious. Like, that is completely unacceptable. The hour-long game they had, Riot should definitely put a time limit on those games. Like, nobody won out of that TSM versus Immortals game. The whole league lost because that just shows you how bad those teams actually are. But let's move on to other teams, and I'll talk about where I have them basically in their rankings a lot later on. Alright, so let's start with the bottom teams and work our way up. So, Golden Guardians, I was pleasantly surprised with them, only for a few reasons why. Closer looked pretty good in his opening debut in the LCS. The TCL MVP, the bad boy of the TCL, playing on Golden Guardians now, he looked great. Looked honestly really good. I have really high hopes for him in the up and coming weeks. I hope he doesn't, put the stop on the what's that saying for cars? You don't put your foot on the gas. Yeah, I hope he doesn't, stop his engine accelerating. I hope he keeps that engine going, because I think that he can turn into a version of Self-Made that was on SK Gaming. So next year, people will see him and they'll want to actually pick him up for a better team. Closer looked good. I am going to keep my eye on this guy. This guy, personally for me, would be my MVP of the week. And for the LEC and for LCS, as the weeks going into for week 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I'm going to have my own MVP at the end of the video. So not these first few weeks because I'm just starting this back up right now, but moving forward, I'm going to have my own MVP as for each week as the matches keep continuing. So Keith's support was trash. I mean, most people expected that. I mean, he didn't play that bad, but you can tell, like, you put Keith and then you put him in the same room as Ignar. Okay, there's definitely a big difference there. I still think the Keith support move is horrible. Haunter played fine. I swear, I felt bad for Golden Glue. Golden Glue, in his matchup against 100 Thieves, that was the best game he ever played in his life in the LCS. I swear to you, this guy has never played that good before. I know he had his Cloud9 versus TSM moments, but those weren't really that good. They were a little bit overrated by a lot of people, but I actually think that Golden Glue played his best game just on Saturday. They had that big epic game against 100 Thieves where Closer was clapping Meteos, and he had a really great game, and I was pleasantly surprised by Golden Guardians, and I thought they looked pretty good to a relative point. And then Cloud9 just kind of clapped them the next day, so it is really hard to kind of gauge their strength right now, but I do believe that if they actually had won their 100 Thieves game, they would have probably put up more of a fight against Cloud9, but, you know, that is kind of a hindsight mentality kind of theory, so let's not really go off of that. So, next team, Immortals, garbage, trash. They looked horrible. They looked really bad. Like, I mean, I don't even understand the level of bad I saw from them, and it's not to attack any of their fans, but people have to be honest here. They played really bad. I mean, the only shining bright part about their team was their bot lane. Altec played pretty well. Hey, I'll admit, Altec improved a lot, man. He looked really good. Hakuo played just fine. The bot lane did great. And they were supposed to be a passive kind of just like lose lane, win game type bot lane. They played great. Ica played better than most people expected. I'll give him credit for that. Xmithy, oh my god. Holy crap, I have never seen such garbage drafting in my life. And I don't really ever attack draft, because attacking draft is like the easiest thing to do. But this was just unacceptable drafting. So, during the Immortals game versus was it FlyQuest? No, yeah, it was Immortals versus FlyQuest. Sorry, I'm confusing that horrible hour-long TSM game with Immortals. Sorry about that. So, it's Immortals versus FlyQuest. They're in first rotation to pick it on Immortals side. Soaz and Xmithy lock in Trundle and Aatrox. Understand what I'm going to tell you right now. That is the worst thing Xmithy can do, is locking in a fucking Trundle when he is not seeing tanks yet. What's the point of locking in Trundle that early on in the draft without even seeing the full, picks from the other side? The reason why you don't lock in a pick like that is not only is it not that good on this specific patch, but you want to save that Trundle pick to see what they're going to pick, and you kind of throw that at them last minute because you already see their composition. It's the most unacceptable drafting I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god, it actually blew apart my brain. But, you know, Immortals, they need a lot of improvement. Like, they just look bad all the way around. I mean, Ica, Altec, and Hakuo, shining bright stars of the roster, which is not what people were saying about this roster coming in. It was supposed to be Xmithy and Soaz doing that. My god, people who said Xmithy was overrated, they kind of got a little bit more vindicated, because, I mean, let's be honest here, that looked really bad. Alright, so, next team is FlyQuest. FlyQuest looked really good. They started off 2-0, Viper played well, Santorin, I mean, like, let's be honest here, guys, he didn't play that good, but he did play good enough, and I feel like that he ganked more in his games this week than I've ever seen this man gank in his entire life. Kudos to him. He played pretty good. Not, like, insane, but still pretty good. Power of Evil looked kind of lackluster. Wild Turtle and Ignar's bot lane looked great, actually. Ignar is my, if I were to choose an MVP for this week, my MVP would actually be Ignar. He actually played that good. And FlyQuest, surprising, a Dark Horse team, like I thought they were going to be, did pretty well. And Outside of that, they all played great. Viper carried some games. He played pretty well all week. Everybody on the roster played well except for pretty much Power of Evil. They had a pretty decent schedule. They faced who did they face actually? I forgot who they faced consistently, but I know they faced Immortals. I just kind of forgot the second team they were actually facing. But other than that, they faced Evil Geniuses. I'm pretty sure, right? It doesn't really matter, but they did pretty well. All right, so Golden Guardians, Immortals, FlyQuest. Which team do I tackle next? Because all right, I'll go with the 100 Thieves. No. Hold on, no. I'll go with the 100 Thieves because I'd say quite a bit about this team. They look really lackluster. This looks like the exact same team except the pieces kind of got flipped around. Someday, okay, Meteos clapped all week. He got clapped all week long. There's no debate. He got destroyed all week long. Ryoma looked better than what I anticipated, but I thought he'd still be pretty strong. I thought he looked okay. Cody-san and Stunt, kind of a lackluster bot lane coming in. I mean, that can improve in the up-and-coming weeks, but from what I saw, really lackluster there. I mean, Stunt has not really looked that great so far, but like I said before, these players can improve, but I think this roster is just the same players we've seen before. Like, I wasn't really too sure what people were expecting. This is the same level of play they've always kind of shown. Slow scaling games. They're not an early game explosive team, even with Meteos ganking for them in the early game. Meteos got destroyed by Closer. He got destroyed in the next game. He needs to get a little bit of hang of playing with the 100 Thieves again, because I feel like playing with these better players than what he had last year is a little bit of a coin flip now. Now you're the better player with better players, so you're going to have to play at that level rather than playing down to these other bad players' level to help them out. Next roster is CLG. Wow, I don't even know what to say about them. Just completely mind blown. It's like, I understand what they're trying to do because Smoothie was trying to do stuff to help them, but they weren't following up on any of his engages. Not only were they not following up on any of his engages, they all looked very out of sorts. Like Wiggly, oh my god, what was that Jarvan play? Holy crap, my brain almost exploded. Like, it's just like, what is this team doing? Like, this team should be strong, but their brains, they all turned off. I swear to God, who paid Wiggly to EQ Flash the way he did on Jarvan? Who paid off Wiggly? Who sent him that blank check? The blank checks go to Faker, not Wiggly. Holy crap. Crown was okay. I'm not going to say he played bad individually because, he did do the most out of his team anyway. Ruin looked surprisingly a lot better, but this team, it feels like they know what to do, but it's really just not showing at the moment. You know what I'm saying? I understand where they can improve at. I'm just understanding what was this level of bad play. This level of bad play was it was horrible, man. Okay, so after CLG, who's next? You got Evil Geniuses. Didn't look too hot in their first game. They got pretty clapped, I'll say there. The game against 100 Thieves later today, they played an insanely amount of way better cohesion. That's what I'll say. They played like it was just the day one jitters were out of their system and they were actually ready to play. Otherwise, nothing super bad from them, only on the aspect of how do I kind of judge them, right? So you have a roster of Kumo, Jizuke, and Sanskara, and Zazel, and Bang. You gave me that day one performance, which was atrocious, but then you give me the performance today where you're really good against 100 Thieves. Kind of in the middle with them at the moment. I'm not going to say they played good nor bad. I'll just say they played up to the standard as which we should expect. Alright, so I'm at Dignitas now. Dignitas, I'll say I'll eat my words. They were a lot better and a lot more cohesive than I anticipated. Johnson, rookie of the split, he's going to get it. He's the only rookie. Played like a rookie of the split. He played pretty well. So even if people say right now he doesn't really deserve it, only because he's the only rookie in there, he played like he deserved it. I mean, later on the split, if he plays like the way he did in this week, all the way in these up-and-coming weeks, I will be happy to say he deserves it. Not because he's the only rookie there. Alphamu played better. The whole team played pretty well. I mean, Greg is not that good, but because you can kind of see where he is still kind of bad, but the team played great. Froggen played great. Anybody who was telling me Froggen was washed up, you are stupid. You are completely stupid. You do not know what you're talking about. You are an idiot. If you think Froggen is washed up, you should stop watching LEC, like, trash mid laners you're just fanboys of and watch a good mid laner. He's actually pretty good. This team played great. The issue with this team I have is this just going to be a week 1 thing? See, that's the thing with teams like Dignitas and FlyQuest being on this, like, week 1 hype train, is that we can easily see this derail after a couple weeks. So let's say Dignitas and FlyQuest go up against each other next week, or they go up against Cloud9 or TL, you know what I mean? Like, how are they going to really handle these bigger teams with much more higher expectations? And we've always seen this happen in, like, LCS, LEC, LPL, LCK, where, like, these random teams nobody really kind of gives a flying freak about, they do kind of well, and then they kind of collapse. So I'm waiting for when that happens so I can really accurately judge them. But Dignitas, they played great, man. They really put on a show this week. All right, who's next? You got, I'll save Cloud9. You got TL. We'll go to TL. They had a sub. I know people said, oh my god, Cloud9 only beat them because they had a sub. They had subs because subs is plural. Plural is 2 people. They had 1 sub, and I don't think Broxa being there would have made that much difference in that specific game, because they got destroyed in every lane. That was just a complete stomp. Like, people need to understand, they got destroyed. I know the game, from the way it actually plays out, if you watch it, doesn't look like that, but they were winning in scaling, they were winning in macro, they won in tempo, they won in objectives. I mean, they just won everywhere. So having Broxa there, was that really going to make that much of a difference, though? I don't really think so, and I think that that's a little bit of disrespect to say they were going to play at that level anyway, whether or not Broxa was going to be there. You have to understand that. So let's factor in, let's say Broxa is going to be with them. So also point out, they are going to play that specific way, that specific comp in that scenario. Looking at TL today, after they just beat TSM to not go 0-2 because they were doing bad in Academy and they were kind of getting stomped in the LCS, you do have to understand they do have a sub. This is not their full roster. That's not their starting roster. And even if Broxa does get here, there's also going to be a point where Broxa has to actually gel with his team, practice with them. It's going to be a real grind for TL in this early part of the split, though. I'm not going to give up on them just yet. Their game against TSM gave me a lot of confidence. I do like what they did there with Schernfire. I don't think Schernfire is that bad. And I want to make it fundamentally clear here. Schernfire should play right now out of his goddamn mind, because this is what people are looking at. A big situation happened where, their main jungler Broxa can't play right now. If an Academy sub gets this level of a position, even though it's only temporary, play out of your mind, you know what I mean? Play the best you can, because you might not ever get this chance again. But he's been playing okay, nothing spectacular, but nothing bad. Like he's not inting, so that's a good thing. So let's go. Impact, Jensen, Doublelift, and Core JJ. All of them individually played fine. It was just, they're not really playing a way we know they can play because they don't have their full roster. So this is more or less just a temporary level of play from them until they could get their better jungler, which is Broxa, and that's when I'm going to actually gauge them, is when we see them with the full roster. Alright, let's go to TSM. Oh my god. Like, I don't even know what to say. So let's start with that hour-long game. What the hell is that? They were winning. TSM is winning. Like, they're winning. All you have to do, after they get that collapse on top side with So Isaac Smithy, and then you have Broken Blade roasting their assholes up with the Rumble Equalizer, then all you have to do is take Baron, and then you win the game. But this is what they do. They recall like morons. Why would you recall? You just killed 3 people. What? Oh my god. Brain explodes. Just blows up. And then they last an hour in this game. I had a flashback. If you guys have been watching this scene for as long as I have, I remember there was this best of 3 that Rocat and Origin played back in 2017 it's EU LCS back then, but LEC Spring 2017 LEC Spring, or I'll type it in like EU LCS from back then if you want to watch it. Type in Rocat versus Origin. That hour-long game reminded me of how bad that series was. This was horrible. Like, it's not even that TSM were losing the game. TSM were winning. That's the issue I have here, is that you were winning the game. This is the same thing they did against G2 back in 2017 MSI. They're winning the game, and then they recall when you do not need to recall. Everybody's full health. Everybody on Immortal side is almost half dead. All you have to do is take the Baron, and then you win. Like, what happened? And then, to add to my point, today, when they face TL, Dardoch gets ahead on Elise. He is 2-0. So, I'm thinking to myself, alright, TSM, this game's over. Let's wrap this up. Alright, TL, pack your freaking bags. Get your ass out of here. No. TL plays smart macro, and they out-muscle TSM. But the Dardoch that I remember, if he got 2-0 on Elise, I mean, let's be honest here, he would have took over the game. I don't understand how wasn't he able to take over the game being that far ahead. Elise being that far ahead that early on within, like, what, 10 minutes? I mean, that can be, like, GG in some cases. But TSM, it's not like they're doing essentially bad things. Like, you can understand what they're doing. Like, you can understand it. But then the execution is like, the shit goes down to the drain. It's more or less so as if they're playing not to lose versus playing not to win, but I don't want to give it that because because they're playing like they want to win. It's not that they're running up in stage on inting like misfits, like some trash in the LEC. Like, that's why I'm so mad at them, because we saw them winning, like, both days. We literally have seen them winning, yet they're just standing there to let the opponent beat them. Like, oh my god, my brain's gonna explode. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Who is telling them to play like that? Who is telling them to play like that? So you're telling me my jungler gets that far ahead, that early on. So at that point, basically, this is like back in the day terms for all you guys are watching now. That is what is called, in my personal opinion, a pick composition. Elise is far ahead. Who did Bjergsen was on? He was on Zillion, right? You have Elise, Zillion. They can roam around the map. Oh my god, if this was EU or LCK or LPL, if they were that ahead, they would have just been farming. They would have been going around the map. They would have been solo killing people. Oh my god. Okay, so after that, if you're that far ahead on Elise, and he was even with Zillion, sorry. He was even with Jensen's Orianna. All he had to do was just roam around with his teammate to start picking off people. Because with Elise, what you're able to do is you're able to pick people off with her cocoon, obviously. So he could stun people with his bomb, cocoon, explosion. They could have literally did so much, but standing there and doing nothing. They even had a Leona. Biofrost was on Leona. Oh my god, there's so much I could have done, but they just did nothing. And my mind is exploded. Like, I just don't understand. But at the end of the day, they can improve. I mean, they deserve, after what they did, they deserve to be 0-2. Anybody that's 0-2 right now deserves it, because you played like dog shit. Oh my god. Brain, I'm done with this. Brain exploded. Alright, so, Cloud9. So, I really hope, because I'm not going to overrate the performance. I thought it was really, really good. What I'm going to say right now is, how's that Sven dick taste in your mouth? Haters who said this roster wouldn't work. How's that Sven dick taste in your mouth right now? Oh, it feels good to me. But hey, I like it though. All down my throat. But nevertheless, Cloud9 played great. The drafting was great. Issues I had with their gameplay was there's a few things I would say. Blabber played fine, better than I expected. Licorice played, I think most of them played fine. There is a few mid-game executions, like them diving a little bit too far into towers when they don't need to, but that stuff can be fixed. They played very, very controlled, very, very Cloud9 oriented. They played like the 2018 Cloud9, except now the 2018-2019 Cloud9, except you saw a little bit more refined. Sven and Vulcan won lane. I mean, we haven't really seen Cloud9 win a lot of lanes, and the bot lane had so much criticism going into this match. Thank you, Cloud9, for going 2-0. Oh my god, the haters shut up for at least a week. Oh my god, Cloud9's gonna be nothing with that sneaky blah 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 blah. Shut up. Get out of here, bro. You don't know shit. Get out of here. Like, I'm not overrating the performance. I'm saying that, like, that should be right there alone enough for most people to go like, okay, they know what they're doing. And it's not even trusting a process. It's about, like, don't say stupid things because you're saying them off emotion. You need to say something with logic based behind it. I don't say much things with emotion unless it really does call for that. But they played really well. The drafting was great. I think that adding in Westrice to the drafting phase over Rapid Star was a little bit better. We saw the draft get a lot more cohesive because with Rapid Star, I feel like their drafts were more toward like him and Reaper's way of how the game should be played versus what is actually happening. So we saw Westrice come in, and I thought it was a really decent improvement for them. But overall, they played great. I mean, they stomped both games out pretty good. Made a few missteps against what's the team? Golden Guardians. But I think Golden Guardians would have put up much more of a fight if they didn't lose to 100 Thieves, because that was my highlight play of the week. Meteos' Baron steal, I thought that was incredible. How do you get that far behind, steal an Elder Drake, and get your team inside the game? I'll never know. But yeah, that's it for my LCS 2020 Spring Split Week 1 thoughts and opinions. What was your standout play? Who was your MVP? Like I said before, for the next up and coming weeks for LEC and LCS, and when LCK eventually starts, I'll be adding in MVPs to this. And if I'm going to do it for this one as just a person to throw in there, I'm going to say Ignar. I thought he played really well. But yeah, see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out. Holy crap, I am done.
Hi there guys, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.